Geralt of Rivia, the protagonist of the 3 Witcher games, is one of the most iconic and beloved protagonists in all of video games. But he isn't the most flashy protagonist, definitely isn't the kindest and the fastest protagonist, so what makes him so loved by all gamers that people don't have a bad word to say about him? In today's video we're going to look at Geralt deeper and see what makes him such a special and extraordinary character. So for everyone that has played The Witcher 3 or even all 3 Witcher games, we know how morally complex Geralt is as a person. Obviously in The Witcher we make our decisions, or we let Geralt make his decisions. But the problem is those decisions are never completely black and white. So it's never only good or bad. The decisions that we make with Geralt are often in very grey areas. And so Geralt of Rivia isn't really the typical hero that does everything great and is the perfect positive character. He really is an imperfect hero sometimes. He doesn't always save the day, but he tries to do what's right. And this makes him kind of feel human in this world full of dangers, full of monsters, that he still, even though being this badass that he is, really has problems or difficult choices somehow that do not really have a positive or negative answer. And regarding us players, that also makes us immersed because we think about each decision more in depth, because we're like, what is this decision going to give Geralt, or is this the better one, or is the other one the better one? And so we really start to think as if we ourselves were in the shoes of Geralt, which is definitely something that probably every single gaming developer tries to do with their protagonist. And while the moral complexity of Geralt was definitely probably a very hard thing to do for CD Projekt Red, it paid off extremely well and definitely made him a very interesting and human character, even though he is a Witcher. And regarding to that point, think about a lot of very beloved characters. Even like guys like Spider-Man, for example, in the Marvel movies, those guys are often outcasts. We know it's no different with Geralt. He's always being called a mutant, a monster. People are afraid of him because they don't know what he's going to do. And probably a lot of players can relate kind of to him. But even though he's always being called an outcast or a mutant, Geralt really stays true to his inner circle. Whether it's Yennefer, Ciri, Triss or Vesemir, his loyalty really gives him depth that most RPG protagonists kind of lack. And when we're talking about Geralt, I obviously have to mention his dry wit. First off, he has a very stoic presence, so he obviously isn't a very emotional guy. We have very few moments in the Witcher trilogy where we really see Geralt in his full emotion. Most of the time he's a very stoic and very stone cold like guy. But when he talks, it kind of hits, you know, he has very dry humor, but still this quiet confidence that set him apart in a world full of loud personalities. Because obviously we have guys like Dandelion, Zoltan or even Ciri that are very extroverted and talk a lot, but with Geralt it's a completely different thing. Geralt really doesn't talk, and when he talks, it's either humor or it really makes sense for him to say something in that matter. And regarding Ciri, I think that is the part that really makes him so beloved by gamers, because as I just said, he has this stoic presence, but when it comes to Ciri and his kind of father figure, it's a completely different thing, and we really see his kind of second side of Geralt. We also know when he met Ciri in The Witcher 3, we knew how emotional that scene was, but also after that, when he talks to Ciri, it's in a completely different tone than he talks to most of the other characters that we meet in the game. And that again makes him so human, that he's still, even though being this stone cold badass, has those personal sides or those emotional sides, especially when a beloved one of his, Ciri in that case, is on the screen. We really see that he feels, even though obviously we know that Witchers don't show emotion most of the time. And in The Witcher, Geralt constantly wrestles with what it means to be a Witcher. He's kind of trapped between being a human and a monster, and that's really a tension that drives much of his story. Obviously we know that he's treated by a lot of people like a monster, but then he has those human sides, or people, when he does something good for them, they treat him completely different, like a friend, like a normal person. And especially if you have played the 3 Witcher games, in especially the first Witcher one, I think that was very much clearer, because we obviously know what happened in Act 1. And this whole racism towards Witchers in The Witcher 1 comes out really hard, but in The Witcher 3 still, we really see how the people don't want to be around him most of the time, and the normal folk really call him an outcast or call him a monster. But still, when they need something from him, suddenly everybody wants to be best friends with Geralt. And also seeing that evolution from him, from The Witcher 1 to The Witcher 2 and 3, is a very, very nice story, because we obviously accompany him after the books finished. And I'm telling you, if you have read all of the books and then play all of the 3 games, Geralt will automatically become your favorite protagonist, because this evolution or this story that we go through with him is really one of a kind, to be honest. And those struggles with identity are present not only in the Witcher games but also in the Witcher books the whole time that we are with Geralt. And so he isn't just special because of his abilities. Obviously, he still is a badass, can fight and has this wit, but he's special because he feels real. He feels pain, loss, love, and he always walks the harder path when it matters most. Even though he still is this stone cold guy, there are those moments where he really comes through as a human being, and that's what kind of makes him unforgettable. And even though he's definitely not a flashy character, his moral complexity and his evolution and the stories that we go through with him are definitely something that no Witcher player will ever forget. But now I'm interested in hearing your opinions on Geralt of Rivia. Obviously for me, he's definitely a special protagonist because of the points that I've just listed, but I'm interested in hearing about your opinions on Geralt, whether you love him as much as I do and also think that he's a superb protagonist, or whether you have some points where you really think like maybe that wasn't so good about Geralt of Rivia. As always, write your opinions down in the comments and I'll be very happy to read those. Alright guys, that was it from me in today's video. I wish you all an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.